Okay, guys, we're going to give it a few minutes for people to actually join the event. So in the meantime, hello everybody. Where is everybody from? We see Markuss, Marix, Emperor, Demeter. How are we all doing? So yeah, where is everybody from? Also, let me set something else up real quick. Also, guys, what do you reckon about the background? You guys fucking with the background or no? Philippines, Serbia, Latvia, Bulgaria, Greece. There's a few people from Serbia, which is cool. Never mind, it's the same person. Markuss, you're from the States? Okay, awesome. Okay, awesome. Okay, let me get something on here. 1 second, guys. And then we'll jump into it. I'll give you guys all a bit of context on how this is going to work, what's going to happen, how this is going to work, and everything in between. Let me just get prepared for this real quick. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so bear in mind, guys, like obviously I'm new to this live streaming stuff, so you will just have to bear with me here. I might fuck up here and there. So yeah, please like the live stream. I think that helps. So if you could do that. Also, I think you guys can hear me okay, right? There's, just for some context, there's a little bit of lag or latency. So when I say something, I think it's roughly around 10 seconds or so until you guys hear what I say. So when I ask you guys something, it might take a few little minutes here or there for you guys to hear it. So just a little heads up for that. Okay, cool. Let me also put this on my Instagram story, and then we can go. All right. Kyle, which link do I put on my Instagram story, bro? You're gonna send it to me on WhatsApp? Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay, guys, literally about 5-ish minutes, and then we're gonna jump into it. Make sure you guys are prepared. There's gonna be a lot that we're gonna be going through here today. All right, thank you, bro. Copy. Okay. Yo, Clutcher said, who's here from Latvia? I am. You have at least one person on this live stream. Someone said, yes, I have my own agency. He wants to network. Cool, man. Okay. All right, let me do a quick little Instagram story. Wait, let me open up this. Yeah. All right, everybody, we are live right now. So this is the link somewhere around here. Click and you can come join live and chat in the actual live event itself. This is everything that we're going to be going through. So introduction to OFM and everything you need to know. So go ahead and click the link somewhere around here. Come join live with everybody. All right, boom. This is Marketing 101, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let me paste this. Live now. Boom. All right, I'm excited for this, guys. I've actually never done one of these, so I think this is going to be good. Boom. And then obviously, I want this to be quite interactive, so I want to be able to talk to you guys when you guys to ask me questions. And yeah, man, it's going to be a great time. I want this to be informative, of course, but also entertaining at the same time. So yeah, I think we're thereabouts ready to go. Let me put this into the Discord as well. Also, Carl, can you put it into school as well, bro? This link? You have? All right, legend. All right, cool. All right. Okay. All right. So just so I have a little bit of context here, everybody, right? At what stage is everybody at? So put a 1 if you don't have an agency and you haven't even started, you haven't even done any outreach, and you were just finding out about OnlyFans management. Put a 2 in the chat if you are just in the early stages where you're just doing outreach, you've never had a client, but you're already doing outreach and you've been learning about it for a couple of weeks. Put a 3 in the chat if you already have had at least 1 client in the past, right? At least 1 client in the past. Maybe you have 1, maybe you have 2 right now, right? And so on. And then put a 4 in the chat if you already are making, $5,000 or more. All right, I'm just curious here. There's a lot of options here, to be honest. Maybe I should have simplified it. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. So a lot of people, to be honest, there's actually quite a few people here that already do have at least 1 client. So, it's Rain in the chat. What's good? What's good, Rain? I see Reggie. How are we doing? So yeah, these are some of my lovely people from the inner circle, by the way, guys. But anyway, let's get into the actual live event, okay? So, in today's live event, so there's going to be, first of all, let me give you guys a bit of context, okay? So I'm going to be going live every single day from today till Monday to Friday, okay? So I'm going to miss out Saturdays and Sundays because I've got shit to do. But Monday to Friday, we're going to be going live at this exact same time. So whatever time it was for you, that's when we're going to be going live. So for most people, like I think UK, it's 6 p.m. So yeah, whatever time it is for you, that's when we're going to be going live Monday to Friday. And every single live event, there's going to be a different subject, a different topic that we're going to be going over, okay? And just to tell you guys, just to give you guys a little bit of context on the type of topics that we're going to be going over. Number 1, which is going to be today, right? So again, just for some context, every day is going to be different, okay? So today's live event is going to be OnlyFans Management Introduction. So this is going to be introducing the business model of OFM to you guys who are just starting out, who perhaps don't really have the clue on exactly how everything works. Tomorrow's live stream, which is the same time, is going to be me breaking down a case study of my own client that we just wrapped up in October, the highest month to date, which was $180,000. Well, actually, it was like $182,000. So we're going to be breaking all of that down, right? And that's net, by the way. Gross, we done like 220 or 200, something like this, $200,000. In 1 month with 1 client. So tomorrow's live event is going to be breaking down that case study of exactly how we done it, and then also showing you guys literally hundreds of other agencies all around the world doing the same thing, right? Okay, not maybe the exact same thing, but also making a lot of fun coupons in this space. The next live event, so this is now going to be Wednesday, is what it takes to actually make $1 million online from starting from broke, okay? So this one is going to be more so covering the mindset side of things, okay? So believe it or not, a lot of it depends on up here, whether you guys are going to succeed or not. Whether you do it with OFM, e-commerce, it doesn't matter. A lot of it is going to be dependent on how you see and perceive things up here. So that's gonna be the next live event. We're gonna be talking to you guys about, how does it work where some people just are able to get so successful so quickly, and yet you feel like you're fucking lost? You don't even know where to start. Or how does it seem that no matter what you try, you keep trying and trying and trying, and it just doesn't seem to be working? Things keep getting harder and harder, right? How does that work? And we're gonna explain everything. The next live event is going to be explaining to you guys the different stages between 0 to 10K a month, 10K to 50K, 50K to 100K, and 100K to $300,000 plus a month. So how does OFM differ? So what is the difference between an agency that's like small and boutique, making around 0 to 10K a month, and then the next stage, and then the next stage? Are we going to break down exactly what kind of staff members, what kind of systems, how many clients, what kind of expenses you need, and so on, okay? So then the next live event, I've lost track. Maybe this is Friday, maybe this is Monday, I think this is Friday. The next live event is going to be the first practical lesson, okay? This is where we're going to be telling you guys exactly what softwares you need, how to get physically started, what you need, just before you start outreaching and getting your first clients on board, all right? The next live stream is going to be how to guarantee your first client in OFM, okay? So we're gonna tell you guys exactly, even if you're just starting out, even if you have 100 followers on Instagram, even if you have a private account, even if you don't know anybody who's running, who's doing OF, you know, and so on, we're gonna teach you guys how to actually get your first client. The next live stream is, I've already done it. I've already recorded a sales call with me closing a client live, okay? I've recorded it. I think it was roughly around 36 minutes. And this live stream, we are going to break down this exact call. Like, you will literally hear me word for word, bar for bar, like closing a client. So you will literally get exactly my script, what I say. Like, that's the next live stream, okay? Sounds pretty good, huh? Put fire emojis in the chat if you guys are thinking this is valuable, right? That these next couple of days. Holy fucking shit, I've got something in store for you guys. So that's the next live stream. The next live stream is now, you know how to get started, how to secure your first client. Now you're gonna know how to close them on a call because you're literally gonna hear me do it word for word, right? Now we're gonna teach you how to onboard the client the correct way. So once the client says, yeah, cool, I'm happy to sign on with you, how do we actually then get this person to onboard with your agency? How do you get started? How do you actually start doing the work with them, okay? Then we're gonna explain marketing, everything you guys need to know and understand about how marketing works. Then the same with chatting the day after. So we're gonna explain how the chatting works, what you need, and so on. Then we're gonna talk about the team structure, so how the team is set up and how you will go about actually getting staff members and so on. So this is a quick rundown of all of the live events that we're going to be doing, and I'm pretty fucking excited. There's a lot to go over. Somebody said, will these episodes be saved? Yes, they will be saved on YouTube. So even this live event, after you finish the live event, you will be able to watch the episode on YouTube. But obviously the best part is if you're live, you get to ask me questions and I get to talk to you live, okay? So I would advise if you guys can, just lock in with me for the next couple of minutes here and let's just go through it. So with that being said, let's jump into today's live stream, okay? So we're gonna start off with what is OnlyFans management. For anybody who is completely brand new, let me explain the business model to you in very, very simple terms. First of all, what is the purpose of the business model itself, okay? So in very, very simple terms, think of it as this way. You are here to save time and make money for these people, right? Now, for people who do OnlyFans, okay? So the best way to make money online, okay? The best way. So you can sell products, you can produce products, you can have a manufacturing company, you can have a physical store, right? You can have a gym and all these things. All of these ways that I just mentioned, they're not very beginner friendly. Well, if you're going to open up a gym, fuck, you need quite a lot of money, right? If you are going to create a product, well, you need to create like a warehouse or a facility and so on. That costs a load of money, right? If you're going to sell a product, well, then you've got to find one in China and it's long and you have to still invest a load of money up front and so on. Now, the best beginner-friendly model is typically the two best ways, right? Is if you either go to a rich person and you say, hey, I can save you time, right? Because they appreciate that. Every single minute and hour you save to a rich person, it's worth a lot to them, okay? That's one aspect. So, for example, accountants, right? Accountants that work specifically with very wealthy clients, they can charge a lot. Right? Because it's saving them so much time because the person does not have to go through all the bookkeeping and so on by themselves. The other way is if you make them more money, okay? So for example, maybe you run a paid ads agency, right? And you go to a business, it can be any business, let's just say you go to a beverage store, right? A store online that sells drinks, for example. And you say, hey, you're currently making $100,000 a month. I can help you run some ads on social media and I can help you make an extra 100K. So now you're making 200K a month and I'll charge a percentage of that, right? That's definitely another way and you're making them more money that way. Now there is a third option, which in my opinion is by far the best, which is what we're going to be teaching you guys in all of these live streams. And the third option is when you do both. So you're not only saving these wealthy people time, you're also making them a shit ton of money, okay? And that's exactly what we're going to be covering today. So within this way of business, you will be working with these OnlyFans creators and you'll be saving them time, which I'll explain to you in a second about how you're going to be saving them time. And you're definitely going to be making them a lot more money, okay? And think of it this way, right? What is OnlyFans management? Well, think of any influencer, any celebrity, any athlete, right? What do they all have in common? They all have a manager. Your favorite footballers, they have a manager. Your favorite musician, they have a manager. Your favorite actors, they have a manager. Even down to the influencers who you follow on TikTok and YouTube, they have a manager, believe it or not. And this is no different, right? These OnlyFans creators, can they physically do it all by themselves? Sure, but there's a limit. There's a ceiling to it, right? It's kind of the same as saying, you know, physically, could you run a restaurant all by yourself? I mean, theoretically, physically you could, but why the fuck would you? You're literally limited to the amount of guests that you can serve, right? That you've got to quickly run to the phone, answer, book people in, then you've got to greet them at the door, take their jacket off, you know, greet them to the table, bring them to the table, then you've got to take their order, quickly run, make the drinks, bring it to them, then take the food order, run to the kitchen, quickly make the food, then bring it to them, and then they're done, and then they go, right? And then next people. But like, you're limited, you can only serve so many people, right? The same with real estate. Physically, can you run a solo one-person real estate firm? I guess, technically, right? Like, you're only probably selling one house a month, if that. But like, physically you could, right? But you're obviously limited. So this is no different. We're going to talk about that in just a second about why OnlyFans creators need more stuff. So let me actually open up this document and I will go through it with you guys, okay? Matter of fact, let me see if I do this, you guys can see my screen now, huh? I think so. Mr. Producer? Okay. I think. Guys, put a yes in the chat if you guys can see my screen. I believe you can. There's a bit of a latency, so I'll just double check. But whilst I'm waiting for this to catch up, what I'm about to show with you guys, oh, you can't? No?
No. Did you do it on OBS?
Yeah.
Click on OBS again. Click on the first one again. And then back.
Don't worry about it. Okay, so let me just talk you guys through it, okay? So now, as an OF creator, by herself, here is everything that she will have to do by herself, all right? So she, number one, has to think of the content ideas. Number two, she has to record the content. Let me just actually open all of these because it's so long. Give me a sec, boys. Okay, cool. So as an OnlyFans creator, by herself, she has to, number one, think of content ideas. She has to think about what to create for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, live stream ideas, OnlyFans content, and so on, right? Then she has to record the content. Then she has to edit all of the new content. She then has to upload all of the new content on social media and to the OnlyFans vault. Then she has to think of all the captions. Then she has to organize mass messages. Then she has to reach out to other creators for collaborations and so on. Then she has to work out the finances and tax and so on, right? And then on top of all of that, she also has her personal life. Like, what the fuck? Like, how is she meant to do all of that by herself? I mean, physically, I guess. Also, by the way, not to mention, she also has to reply to all the messages until 3 a.m. Like, that's a lot of fucking work. That's a lot of stuff that she has to remember and focus on, right? Now, with you on board, the only thing that she has to do is record the contents, and then she just has to do her personal life stuff, right? Which is whatever the fuck she wants to do. But with you on board, you and your agency would practically do everything. You guys would come up with the content ideas, your team would edit, your team could post, reply to all the messages, help with the marketing, and so on. So this, obviously, saves the creator a bunch of time, okay? So that's the first one. And the second one is making them more money. Well, if the creator only can reply to messages by herself for about an hour or two a day, but then now you and your team come on board and you can now reply to messages for a whole 24-hour window, of course you're going to make more money. Same with social media marketing as well, right? If by herself she's only posting twice a week, well, with you on board, of course you're going to be able to help her post more times, right? Because now she doesn't have to think of the content, she just has to record it. You and your team edit it and post it. Of course you're going to make so much more money, right? Because now you're posting every single day, which means you're reaching a larger audience, funneling that traffic over to OnlyFans, which then therefore your chatters are now replying to all the messages and you're making more money. Very, very simple terms, okay? So how this business model works, let me just explain it. So you run what's called a management agency that works as a contractor to these OnlyFans creators. So these OnlyFans creators, these are not your staff members or your employees. You don't employ them, but you merely just provide them a management service, and then you send them an invoice at the end of every single week on whatever percentage split that you guys organized. The industry standard is typically 50%. So whatever you guys make on the OnlyFans account total, you guys split that down in the middle, you invoice the 50%, the client receives the money into her account from OnlyFans, and then she pays you your 50%. That is the typical way. There are lots of other ways, but that's the most standard typical way of doing things, okay? Your goal is to save the client time by organizing marketing campaigns, more on that later in these live events. And also it's to make more sales and generate more revenue for the client on OnlyFans with automated sales processes, which we're gonna touch on that way, way, way more later in. Somebody just called me gorgeous in the chat. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Yo, shout out Joanne. Joanne, actually, thank you so much. Anyway, you then get them on a call and close the deal, right? Well, actually, sorry, one step back. You simply reach out to the models that are already on OnlyFans via Instagram, and you offer them to scale their OF. Again, we're gonna go into that in just like into the later live events, right? Exactly where to find them, how to reach out to them, what to say to get them on a call. But you essentially reach out to them, you get them on a call, okay? Once you get them on a call, you then will follow what I'm gonna teach you on how to actually close the deal, okay? And then once you close the deal, you onboard them, and then this is where you just gotta do two main things, marketing and chatting, done. Simple as that. I have myself just recently taken a client from $8,000 a month when she started with me to last month in October 2025, we just scaled her to over $180,000 a month. I believe it's tomorrow's live event, which we're gonna go over that in just a second. So yeah, we're gonna break down all of it, the numbers, I'll share my screen. Mr. Producer's actually gonna get it to work tomorrow, so I can actually share with you guys. I'll click around, you guys can see, I'll refresh it so you know it's not BS. And that's just the power. If you do it correctly, exactly what I'm teaching you in these lessons, if you do it, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, all right? Now, the supply and demand in this business. Somebody actually said in the chat, not gonna lie, this niche is still unsaturated. Right, let me give you the numbers, right? So first of all, somebody said it in the chat, which is quite funny. But second of all, let me guys give you some context, right? There are currently over 4 million OnlyFans creators. Over 4 million. For context, actually, that was a study in 2024. So we're now at the end of 2025. Realistically, there's probably 4.7, maybe even 5 million active OnlyFans creators. For context, these are the creators, not the fans. There are over 400 million fans. I'm talking about the girls and guys who are creating and selling the content, right? AKA your potential clients. There are over 4 million. Don't believe me? Go on Google. Literally go on Google and search it for yourself. Couldn't give a fuck. That's literally what Google says, okay? And now this second part, there is no study. You can Google it. There is no study. But if I was to assume how many OFM agencies are there, right, competitors, I would assume there's roughly around 30,000 active agencies around the world, that is. Not just in the US or just around the world. If I was to assume, roughly 30,000, right? And also, there's probably only about 1%, maybe up to 5, I don't know, 1 to 5% that are actually serious, that are actually taking this serious, doing outreach, trying to get clients, doing it properly, making money, and actually sustaining the agency, right? Meaning that most agencies are just shit. So you've only really got about 1 to maybe 5,000 competitors, like 1 to 5,000 competitors to like 4 million potential clients to work with. Do you understand how unsaturated this is? Like how fucking insane this is? Like it's insane. This is genuinely like finding Bitcoin when it was just $4 a coin. right? This is like finding out about SMMA before Ty Lopez rented a Lambo and bought a bunch of books and put them in a garage. This is like finding about dropshipping before fidget spinners. Like, this is actually genuinely a gold mine, okay? Now, the logistics as well, and the numbers compared to other business models. So I kind of mentioned at the very beginning about, different business models and so on and so on. With something like SMMA, for example, right? Typically, you will be charging around $1,000, maybe $5,000 per month per client. And in order for you to get to like 100,000 a month, you're gonna need a bunch of clients, which means that you're gonna have to hire a bunch of staff members, pay them very well, and also you can't just hire kind of anybody, right? They have to have good English, they have to understand marketing, be good at copywriting and so on, right? So your pool of talent is a lot smaller. It's very hard to find the right people. And yeah, it's quite difficult to scale. And your profit margins are gonna get fucked because in order to scale, you need to hire more people, which ruins your profit margins. So, and also SMMA, come on man, like everyone's fucking done SMA. That's how I started. I started that around 8 years ago, so, right? Then you got Forex, straight up gambling. I don't advise it. I personally am firmly against it. So there's not much more I'm gonna say about that. Crypto is the same thing, in my opinion. To an extent, you can kind of have an educated guess with Forex and crypto. But when I did do it, you're basically like stressed 24/7. And even if you're trying to play the long-term game and just putting money in and just kind of forgetting about it, which to an extent is whatever, it's still, it's not the greatest of business models. Dropshipping, you're not really building a business, you're selling some bullshit from China. E-commerce, you need a lot of money up front, you need a website, you need paid ads, you need to find a winning product all the time and it just doesn't work. Affiliate marketing, you're fucking promoting someone else's bullshit. Like what kind of intrinsic value are you building that? And also, like what, you're gonna make 10% commission, affiliate commission for this $25 a month subscription that somebody has bought through your, like, come on, what are you gonna do with that, right? So in my opinion, that this is by far the best business model, okay? Also, please, for everybody that's new here, can you guys leave a like on the little live stream? So just like this live event. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next one is my personal story on how this has changed my life. So really quickly, to give you guys a bit of context, okay? So for me, I immigrated to the UK when I was 10 years old. I didn't even speak English when I moved here. We lived in a council estate, blah, 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 okay? And I was a kid, obviously, I was 10 years old when I moved, so I didn't fucking know what money even really was. I didn't understand it. And to me, the council estate was home, so I didn't really know of anything else. I wasn't living anywhere near London. I didn't know of anything else but that shithole, right? And as I got older, that's when things started to, like, not make sense, but I started to see things. And I was like, wait, mom, like, why can't I buy this thing? Everybody else has it at school. Wait, why can't I go on a school trip? Because all of my friends are going, like, why can't I, right? And then you slowly but surely start to understand why the school uniform that I had, the sleeves didn't end here, they ended here. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? And like, my school lunches was always like from the reduced aisle, so the food would go out of date like the next day, So like, as I got older, I started to understand these things. And I was like, oh, we're fucking broke. Cool, all right. Well, what can we do about it, right? So then, obviously, I got a job at a young age. I started working when I was just 16 years old. And then I'd done that for about, nearly 2 years, just about when I was 18. And I was like, this is bullshit. Having to wake up, having to go to this bullshit-ass place. I don't want to fucking do it. And also, I always thought, I was always looking at like the older people, because I don't have an older brother, older male figure, right? In my life, I don't. So naturally, I would always kind of look at like the bosses or the managers of the company that I'd work at, and I'm thinking, is this person really where I want to be? And not a single fucking one of the jobs that I worked at, that was the truth, right? It wasn't. Same with school, by the way. This is why I don't really enjoy school that much. Well, I enjoyed school, but the idea of sitting down, listening to some schmuck, telling me something that I'm not even interested in, that just didn't make sense to me, right? So anyway, but with the job thing, it didn't make sense. And hopefully some of you guys can relate to this stuff, right? Because I think that's kind of the early journey for a lot of people, for a lot of entrepreneurs. I didn't even know what the fuck entrepreneur was. Anyway, I was like, yeah, cool. Yeah, fuck this. This is not it. Like also, I got to ask if I can go for a piss. Come on, bro. What the fuck is this? I'm a full-grown man, right? At this point, I'm like 18. Anyway, unfortunately, my father, who was back in home in Latvia. Unfortunately, he passed away. It's sad, but it's life. But yeah, that happened, and I was like, right, okay, now it's just me and my mum. I've got to do something here. So then I started learning about how to make money online. I learned about SMMA. That was my first thing, like I said. So I've done SMMA. In between that as well, I tried a bit of drop shipping, like on Etsy, like phone cases and little things like this here and there. But like, it never really fucking took off. Like, the phone cases I basically made like nothing, and I spent about 4 months of this bullshit. It was just a waste of time. Before like paid ads, I'd done creative, so I had a camera and I would just do like photos and videos for local businesses. I made like, don't get me wrong, I made like 200, 500 pounds a week, which to me was like amazing, but it wasn't consistent. And I also like, I physically had to drive to somewhere, which costed me petrol and time. Then I had to film or take the photos, then drive my sorry ass home and then edit all myself. And you know, for 200 pounds, I was like, come on. And also, by the way, my whole thing was to retire my mum, for context, okay? When unfortunately my father passed away, like, I really, truly, genuinely believe that is, for a lot of people, the turning point where you become a man. At least for me it was. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else. But for me, that was the moment when I was like, okay, like, I have to, now I'm the man. Like, they literally, the fuck, right? So I had to retire my mum, and I was like, okay, these 200-pound gigs here and there is not going to do it. Then I got into social media management, and I started learning about marketing. And don't get me wrong, I was naturally pretty good at it. I quite enjoyed it, and I'd done it for about 2 and a bit years. And I saved up loads of money, right? And it was going great. I started traveling, and then I met this girl who was doing OnlyFans, right? This is around 2020, okay? And she was doing OnlyFans, and like, I knew what it was, because by this point it was running for like 3 years. OnlyFans got incorporated in 2017. You know, sure, whatever, she was doing OF, but I never actually deeped it, like, what actually is it, until I sat next to her or like laid in bed with her, and she just showed me like what the fuck it was. Like, she posts a few pictures here and there, and she was making like $5,000 a month. And I'm like, what? You make $5,000 a month, and you post like twice a week, and you just send a mass message to everybody, you don't even talk to them? I just had like dollar signs in my eyes. I was like, well, what if you do talk to them? And what if you post every single fucking day? Like twice a day, 3 times a day, 10 times a day? What if I just get my virtual assistants from a marketing agency to do the chatting, and then I help you with content ideas, you just record it, I already have an editor, he'll edit it, and then either me or him will schedule all the posts on your social media, and then all of it started to fucking make sense. I was like trying to like go like some crazy madman here, right? And also back then in 2020, nobody was doing OnlyFans management. And I mean nobody. I was genuinely one of the first pioneers with this whole space. And so therefore, by the way, I charged her a retainer. I charged $2,000 a month. There was no percentage. It was stupid, but I didn't know. Anyway, done that. I scaled it to $10,000 very, very quickly. She then told about me to her friend, and then her friend joined, and then I said, hey, how about I charge you 40%? Well, I can't remember exactly what it was, 30, 40%, etc. Then we went on a percentage base, because I realized, like, if this number keeps scaling, then 15K, 20K, 30K, it doesn't make sense for me to still, keep charging $2,000 a month. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So then I switched to a percentage basis, and then same with all the other clients. And then fast forward, I want to say, well, yeah, thereabouts 5 years to now. This is where we are. So yeah, my agency just wrapped up. I've been through a lot of ups and downs, especially this year. A lot of downs more so this year. It's been quite hectic. But my agency just wrapped up with about $330,000, I think, last month, which, to be honest, is quite slow for us. But I'm not worried. Like, we've been at $1 million before, so it is what it is. There's quite a lot of peaks and troughs. I'm going to explain all of it in the future live streams, that in this business model, you can very quickly go up and down. But we have some great systems that we're going to be teaching you guys. And just one of my clients last month was on like $182,000, which is pretty crazy. And we take 50% from all of our clients, just for some context. So anyway, guys, that's a quick little introduction to me. And obviously by now I've been able to retire my mother. That was my first thing. I was then able to move to my dream place. I was able to buy a bunch of supercars, some cool watches. I live in a pretty nice, humble abode. But more importantly, I've been able to give back to my friends and family. Like, for example, it's Christmas in about a month or 2 months. I've sent practically all of my all of my family members quite a lot of money for them to buy presents for each other. not for themselves, but for each other. So like I gave them a big fucking budget. And also I rented out like this massive lodge, like this dream big house where we're all gonna stay. We're gonna get the biggest Christmas tree. And the point I'm trying to make here is that that's what matters. That's what this whole thing has allowed me to do. Like, yes, we're gonna talk about all of the, what is it, how to do it, how to get clients and how to onboard and how to do the marketing and how to do the chatting and all these things. We're gonna obviously talk about it. But I want you guys to understand and remember the back of your head, the bigger picture. The bigger picture is the reason why there's people of you guys here watching this right now is because clearly there's a million things that you could be doing right now besides this, but clearly you're doing this because there's a bigger reason. And I don't know what personally that reason is for you. Maybe it is to retire your parents. Maybe it is just to get out of that 9 to 5, that fucking bullshit rat race, having to wake up here, go here, clock off, sleep and repeat. And you feel like you're just surviving. You're not living, you're surviving, right? Which is what most people do. Maybe you just want to get out of that. Maybe there's a car that you want. Maybe there's a girl that you want to impress. Who gives a fuck? Whatever it is that you want, you can achieve it with this. As long as you just put in the work and you stay consistent, and we're going to go through everything in these lessons, okay? So as far as today's live stream, guys, I know this one was a little bit short, and this was practically what we wanted to go over. Like I said, the next live events, we're going to go into a lot more detail about. So yeah, for example, the next live event is exactly the case study of how one of my clients scaled to over $180,000. We're going to break it down. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to click around so you guys can literally see exactly what it is. Yeah, man, I'm pretty excited. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're checking back on these live events every single day. So Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sundays, let me fucking do some shit myself, right? I need the weekends. But Mondays to Fridays, we're gonna go live and we're gonna have a lot of practical advice on these live events. So make sure you guys tune in and check in. Also, you can check out all of my other videos here on YouTube. But as far as this live event, thank you so much. That's all for this one, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace, guys.